Hello and welcome. It's true. Today is episode 2 of Simple Stories, the podcast, aka Not So Simple Stories. I'm one of your hosts, Jonathan P. Hatchback. You may know me. You've probably laughed, you've cried. We've already been over this. Unfortunately, Jake Normal Guy is not able to make it today, and so we're really excited to welcome a new guest, Douglas G. Notebook.
Nice to be here. Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. We gave him the best chair in the house for the guests.
I mean, Simple Stories has been an inspiration for a long time. For me, I know just not even academically, just going to the kitchen and saying, I want to eat an orange today.
I mean, that's something special for me to hear because I think, first and foremost, we are academics, but we want to be, the everyday, the orange peel academics, if you will. So that's quite touching.
But yeah, it's an honor. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. And I gotta say, you're showing me up a little bit with the tie. I'm a little bit jealous.
You have to come in style when you know you're talking to a guy like this.
And certainly you did. Certainly he did.
You have to show up.
And so I think before we get into things, there's one question that you might be asking at this point is, it's a video now? It's a video? I know I have my views about this, but do you want to start us off? What's the importance of the video podcast to you?
Well, so you all listened to last week's episode, I'm sure. And, audio podcasts, they can only go so far. We're really pushing the boundaries here at Jonathan P. Hatchback Academic Incorporated. And so we're trying to question, nothing is ever good enough, We're always trying to question, what can we do to really come up with new theses on what podcasting is?
Yeah, and I think last week it got touched on, we're trying to be, whether you're sitting up, whether you're standing down, whether you're diagonal, we want this to be accessible. And I think adding video is just another element to that. And so for that reason, we're really excited.
And you want people to see the colors.
It's not 1920 anymore. We got colors now.
There's colors.
We got colors now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, too...
That's a great thing that they came up with that.
That's a whole nother episode. Colors is a whole nother... I'm actually mad you brought that up.
Well,
let me finish what I was going to say.
Later.
Maybe, foreshadowing master over here. But what I was going to say is that, especially, we're academics. We're people... We're children, we're fathers, we go to Dunkin' Donuts, we walk on the street every day, but we're academics. And I think something that's come up in my work, with hegemony, pancake making, Klaus Kinski, it's like AI, artificial interlocking intelligence. What does this mean? We know what it means in the academic space, but what does it mean in the podcasting space? And I think everyone knows you can, words are meaningless at this point without video. And so we wanted to add this extra element so where it's coming from. It's coming from Jonathan B. Hatchback. It's coming from Douglas G. Notebook himself. And this is just another way to show that.
And, we really want to do that because you look at some of his pieces and you think, there's no way a human being could have written this stuff.
Aragon? Who knows Aragon?
It's brilliant stuff. And so, obviously, you have detractors who would say, this is AI. But we wanted to bring you on live in person to dispel those rumors.
Yeah, and you as well.
Well, I've operated from the shadows for some time, but
we're bringing you out. It's a celebration today. It's a celebration. And so,
do you have professionalism?
Let me look in the notebook.
Oh. Yeah, what's in the notebook?
There's a lot of stuff in the notebook.
What do you got written down there?
Okay. Well, actually, trick number 1: never write anything down. Never write anything down.
That's how it goes.
Because it's always evolving.
It becomes worse.
It's always evolving,
Mhm.
and when you lock yourself into even a simple sentence like "today there was," boom, then it's that forever, and it can never change. And so I really don't like to write anything down. This pen, it hasn't had ink in it for 18 years, but I still carry it around because I like to point at things. But so I'll look at the page, but know what's in my mind. I think after episode 1, us at Jonathan P. Hatchback Academics Incorporated, we were just shocked and really touched by the outpouring of support that we got
Yeah.
from our guests. And I think we got a lot of questions.
We got, again, mostly positive. 99.999% positive.
But there's always,
Well, we'll get to him.
regrettably.
But it was 99.99% positive you were showing me. People are just really connecting with the stuff you were putting out there. Like, what would you say you're most connected with pieces?
Let me start with a quote. There was a sleepy old mister by the name of Joe Q. Trickster. And I don't think I have to say anymore. Those words mean a lot to me, and I can't even imagine how much they mean to the listeners. Because I know that they've touched a lot of people. And so, like we said,
It's creating so much movement in the academic world.
it's hard to keep up with. That's why it's just, sometimes it really breaks your mind and all you can do is laugh because it's moving so fast. Again, don't write anything down because then it ceases to move. But, so like we said, 99% just beautiful comments talking about, other people that knew Watto, other people that were concerned with, Baphomet and hegemony and hegemony.
People that were concerned with Klaus Kinski's actions on that set.
He was not so nice to the natives. He was a bit abrasive. Yes.
But yeah, people were connecting with that. They were tossing us questions. When's the next episode? Can you guys talk about this? But there's something that I feel we need to address. Because it's just so, I can't even begin.
Honestly, it slowed down the process of coming out with episode 2 because we came up across a situation that we really didn't know how to handle. 99% was beautiful, touching, inspirational, and it's why we do what we do. But to appreciate that, you kind of also have to get a little bit of a taste for the other side, the not so savory, the people that are really just trying to cause trouble for everyday academics like us.
It's just like, where did guys like this come from? Like, it's like, how does their brain get shaped in that way?
That's all.
They could come up with these thoughts.
That's a question for another day, and one that I don't know if I'm able to speak on.
It really just speaks to a great lack in society, and this is why we're doing this.
Yeah,
to fix stuff like this.
So I think to set it straight, to kind of every moment's a learning moment, and we got this one question from this one really just, I don't want to make broad stroke statements, but one really demented little boy, and I believe he goes by the name of,
I think it was Harold H. Hershey.
Harold H. Hershey, and we have the video. Is that correct?
Yeah, we'd like to show you this video and just respond to it live because.
Hey guys, Harold H. Hershey here. Just calling in with the last episode. I gotta say I'm pretty disappointed in how Klaus Kinski was represented. I consider myself kind of like I do my own research. I look into things myself. So after that episode, I kind of did a deep dive.
Thinker.
And Klaus Kinski wrote an autobiography called "I'm So Wild About Your Strawberry Mouth" in 1975. And you guys were peddling all these positive things about Kinski, but that's just because no one could translate the Germans. Once we translated the German and actually read his book, there's a lot of wacky stuff on there, and I think you guys, if you're not going to translate from the original journal, from his autobiography, I think it might be irresponsible to talk about Kinski and to paint him in this positive of a light when this is a really complex guy who's not he's not a good guy. He's got edge to him.
That was my first time. I couldn't bring myself to watch the whole video. So that was my first time. And now you're getting my honest reaction because that was even worse than I imagined. And first of all, everybody knows strawberries don't grow on mountains.
Listen, man. It's just, how do some people just not get it like that? It makes me sad, honestly.
It's like they're looking for, every single time they see a ray of joy and a ray of inquiry in this world, they gotta tear it down. They gotta, Klaus Kinski himself. It's just a lot of hogwash to try and discredit the work that we're doing here. And quite frankly, I know German. I did read it. I read chapter 1. There wasn't a chapter 2, strangely enough, but I read chapter 3. And it's like he didn't even listen to the episode because I have over 100 hours of recorded conversation with Klaus Kinski.
Some people just think they know what they're talking about while reading 0 of your books, first of all. You would not be making those statements if you looked into a fraction of the work this man has done in this field.
And I think what a lot of people are missing is they obviously know, Klaus Kinski, the octonology, where I covered his life and death. But everything I do touches Klaus Kinski in some way or other. The 1,000-Year Man, Reptile Relegation, Baby. These are at their core about Klaus Kinski.
And taking him out of it, like, are we forgetting the contributions of Wendell L. Dumpert? Like,
he doesn't get the respect he deserves.
Are we just tossing him out of the window?
It must be.
It's so offensive to his family, like, to his estate, and it's...
Because that anthology, he was writing it for, was it 43 years?
On Kinski?
Was it 43 years on Kinski?
Mm-hmm.
He walked with Kinski every day from the Kindergarten, as they say in German, all the way to when he was working with Francis Ford Coppola, Wim Wenders, Wes Anderson on World War Z, and that just gets ignored. Hours and hours and hours. It gets ignored. When people like Harold H. Hershey talk like that, I don't quite even know. If I seem a little bit scrambled, Douglas rarely gets scrambled, but I'm getting a little attention for him. But it's like, we just don't know how to engage with these people.
To that point in his reasoning. It's just
so
many wrong turns.
It's quite frustrating. Should we play it one more time? Because I feel like I need to hear it again because it was just so outrageous.
We can play it.
We need it one more time. Not that I don't want to hear it one more time, but for you, I think we need to hear it one more time.
Hey guys, Harold H. Hershey here.
Shut it off! Shut it off! I thought I could do it. I really did. Everyone and their mother knows about Klaus Kinski these days, but when we started, it was really...
Alright, let's talk about fucking some other shit, man. Talk about the Oscars.
The Oscars?
Where?
How's he?
He's fine. Good. Alright, let's talk about someone.
I mean, Nora. Can we get a round of applause for Nora?
No one is giving the movie the credit it deserves, man. No one is giving this movie the credit it deserves. It's the most underrated movie, maybe of all time. Everyone's trying to take Sean Baker down. I know you have a strong connection to Sean Baker.
I mean, we've crossed paths. Because when I was just getting into Klaus Kinski research and broad stroke statement theory, he was out here doing the groundwork on libs of TikTok and following,
And that doesn't say anything about him. It doesn't.
A guy, we're so anti-intellectual. You can't even do research anymore. You can't even like every single tweet of like
The
woke
IDF
mob,
posts. Yeah.
IDF babes. You can't even like every single tweet anymore because you'll get targeted essentially.
And we'll stand up for him here because no one else will.
Yes, that's true. And I think, not to bring up Harold H. Hershey again, but like everyone that's tearing him down, Sean Baker, he can't do this, he can't do that. Why are all of his movies about the same subject matter? Why is he look so young even though he's so old? Like, it just reminds me of Harold H. Hershey in the way that whenever there's a glimpse, whenever there's a breakthrough, whenever we reach a pinnacle moment as a society, it just gets totally, completely misconstrued and undervalued.
It's like does no one remember that he made Mystic River? Everyone forgets that.
No. And for the viewers out there, can you give us what was so important to you about Mystic River? Because I know you've spoken about that ad nauseum.
Well, I mean, you just go look at one thing, the Sean Penn screaming scene. That's the only thing you need to look at.
And he did do a good job in that scene. He did do a good job.
He did.
Because he has range. I mean,
that shows it. I don't think I've very small, better examples of that kind of acting.
Compared to how soft-spoken and thoughtful he was in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, when I watched that scene, I was like, I was taken aback. Because I'd never seen that side of him before. Not even in 47 Ronin. I'd never seen that before from him, but he was really, it was a scene. It was a spectacle. It was beautiful. And I can't help but think, too, of, Sean Baker is catching all of this flack. What about David Lynch? What about Gene Hackney? What about all these characters that have just... Sean Baker wouldn't be where he was today if it wasn't for Gene Hackney and Sean Baker. Right?
No.
That's what I'm saying.
No, it just would not.
But people don't want to see these connections. People don't want to do nuance anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at it, or you've seen Gene Hackney all over it, cover to cover. It's undeniable.
And
and I'd like to see Harold H. Hershey challenge us on that. I'd like to see him give it a shot, man.
I mean, I don't know what level he won't stoop to.
We'll see. I guess we'll see.
I think we're getting a little bit over on time. It's been a little bit of a contentious first half of the episode, but I wanted to say there's a couple new things. We're on video, as we've already addressed. We've got our first sponsored ad read.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean the numbers on the first episode were so good. It was just we were inundated with advertisement opportunities.
Well, was it 70, 100 viewers?
It was close,
and even more clicks. Because we got about 300,000 questions. Am I wrong?
Well, 3,000, yeah.
3,000.
But we got so many opportunities. But you know what? This show we're not just taking everything that comes our way, right?
Oh.
Conscious advertising. Conscious advertising is what I think we stand for.
We're academics. We're not businessmen.
We're not going to throw you fucking green pencil ads.
No. Socks,
that kind of shit. No. We're talking only shit that we know is going to help our viewers in their pursuits of knowledge. So,
if we bring it up, it's important to us, and it's been vetted by us
and tested too. I know you have one of these at home.
I don't want to talk about it too much, but I mean, it's a heck of a product. It's a hell of a product.
So, the official name is the official name is Beanbag Cup.
I believe this is a translation. This is a German product as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why it was a translation.
Its real name is, do you know it, or?
Das Beanbag Die Coupe.
Yeah, so beanbag cup.
Die Flasche. Die Flasche, dude.
I have one. You have.
I have 3.
He's got 3.
We could have done 2 and 2, but I took 3. I don't want to tell
This guy, he never drinks out of anything other than a beanbag cup. It's crazy. Any time of day, any meal, any thirstiness. What's his go-to? Beanbag cup.
It's addictive.
He's got one second floor. He's got one on the first floor, and he's got one
Basement.
in the basement.
I actually brought one here today. Is it okay if I show it on screen?
Do you have it?
I have it. It was just a little bit. I know how excited you get for the beanbag cups.
Do you have it?
I have a beanbag cup.
Bring it on.
I didn't want to add any pressure. This is my favorite beanbag cup. It's great because
Can't be seeing
you
that.
can't have everything. You got a beanbag cup, you lose your notebook, even though it doesn't have anything in it, and you lose your pen with nothing. But yeah, I mean, look at this. You can drink that. Okay, I'll do the demonstration. Will you talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, it's a revolutionary new product. We got in on the ground floor pretty early because we were just so impressed by beanbag. Because everyone's been saying, I grabbed the glass. It's too cold. It's cold. It's dropping out of my hand. Glass things, right? They're always falling out of your hand because they're like slimy and stuff. They get cold. They get hot. They break. You drop them and they break.
This is quite a bit softer than your average cup.
But beanbag cup. Beanbag cup is different. It's beans in a bag with a cup made of beanbag. And one more is there to say. Link in bio.
Yep. $10,000.
Thank
for
you.
free.
This use code JPH.
It's very kind.
Thank you to Beanbag Cup for sponsoring this episode. Should we get back to the topics?
I think we should. It's hard to change gears, especially when you hear about a product that has so much salience as that one. When I first had my beanbag cup, I thought to myself, how different can it be than a regular cup? I mean, it gets the liquid from point A to point B just the same as every cup. But I'm happy to say how taken aback I was after my first 3 months with the beanbag cup, because I was drinking more water in bed. I was drinking when I was playing basketball. I had it as a backpack, my beanbag cup, and I could just I could get a little bit of taste of that water. And I think, just like with the video, accessibility is so important. And this beanbag cup, it's comfortable, it's easy to use, it's intuitive for all ages under the age of 73. It's a great thing to have, and I know we want to get back to the academics and to the questions, but it's just a great cup, and I'm happy that we got this.
I'll say I would be very surprised if the guys that over at Beanbag Cup did not read your pieces before coming up with that, because that is so in line with just your sort of philosophy that's evident throughout your work.
It's like they must have read The Doing too.
That's what I think. I think they were doing too. Your piece from last February,
I believe so.
And we're just like Beanbag Cup.
It's exciting to see this inspiration in the way that our work is getting spread, but at the same time, you almost, the humble part of you doesn't want to believe it. And so that's why I didn't lead with that, but it's exciting to see kind of like a meta, tangible, physical interpretation of these ideas that we've talked about.
Yeah, it's like that's you brought to life, which is also what this video is.
So it's exciting.
Anyways.
All right. Next, I was thinking, first they've heard our voices. Now they've seen us. Next, a little bit, not about our research, not about our philosophies, but about our histories. And so I know I have something that I want to share. I think Douglas might have something he wants to share as well. But I know as a guest, it's a lot of pressure. So I was thinking I could maybe start. Do you want to kick us off with a question?
Um, well, I've heard different stories. Okay, because everyone's always wondering. Like we were wondering with Harold H. Hersey, like could a guy with this bad of ideas, where could those ideas have come from? But so we're also
You almost
wondering-
don't want to know with something like that.
you want to address it, but sometimes you just gotta let sleeping dogs lie. But everyone's wondering, where does a brain like this exist, begin?
Well, this is something that I think everyone in their life, they have this one thing that they have a hard time really coming to terms with. Truly owning it, embracing it, making it a part of yourself, and to the point, not just where you're okay with it, but where you can speak about it with others. And so I can't even tell you how many years, when people would ask me where I was from, I would kind of, give them a polite little nod and chuckle, and I would say, oh, around the block, or, out by the good field. It was great. If there's one thing I remember from being a kid, it was you definitely wanted to live by the good basketball court and the good field. And so I wasn't an academic yet, but I was thinking in the kind of the ways that academics frame and see the world. And so I would kind of keep it at that. I was by the good park. I was around the corner. I was, a couple stops up, maybe a bus ride down. But I never really went further than that. And it wasn't until about maybe last year, maybe around last February, when I started, thinking in this new way and feeling this new type of comfortability, that I really came to terms with this. And a lot of people still to this, I'm comfortable with it now, but a lot of other people, they don't seem to be able to believe me. But
Well, I want to say, before you get into the big thing, I want to talk about. I know there's a moment where you specifically were telling me, like, this is what changed for me. This is why I was suddenly comfortable with revealing what you're about to reveal. And it was.
I'm excited that this gets to be a part of the
Do
conversation.
you remember where we were?
How could I forget?
We were in the McDonald's Play Place ball pit.
At the top of the Rockefeller Center?
Mm-hmm.
Man, what a view on that ball pit.
Let me tell you, I cannot believe they got rid of that one.
I saw on Twitter they
were-
replaced it with 2 screens today. Or 2 chairs with 2 screens, and they don't got the...
Yeah, I mean, you saw all the McDonald's Play Places going one by one, but you never thought it would be that one.
No.
But we were hanging out there, and you were just like, I think it's the time. I think I'm finally ready to not keep this inside me anymore.
Because when you're having that much fun, and you see the world from that angle, and from that height, and you see the breadth of the world, and you really realize how beautiful everything is, and that there's no place that's better or worse than the others, and there's no reason to kind of carry with me this weight. And so I want to thank you for being there with me and walking me through that moment, because it was definitely something that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life, and I carry it with me every day. And it's really changed the way that I operate. So thank you for that.
But you want to head in with it?
I thought I was comfortable. I'm getting a little bit nervous now. But
He's not perfect.
when I was born in a tree.
Above the pumpernickel patch, right?
Above the pumpernickel patch, in between the greasy hollows and the sandy stone. And that tree actually ended up being where they filmed the movie Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I had a hard time grappling with this was because, the way that it was portrayed in that movie, with the mean farmers, and the neighborhood was so run down that the family could get that tree for cheap. They weren't seeing the side of it that I saw. They weren't telling my story.
And that's not even to begin to get into what happened post-movie release, which is all the developers now, they want to come in, they want to take it over, they want to put a fucking subway in place of the pumpernickel patch. They want to put Wow.
That was a hard time for me
What else
because
did they put in there?
I mean, I will say this: the one good thing they put in there was they built an 11-story building, and every story sold a different color crayon,
Mm-hmm.
and that was great because
That was a good thing.
we told you we were going to talk about color a little bit at the beginning of the episode, but that brought people together because it didn't matter if you liked yellow crayon, if you liked purple crayon.
Some guys have coloring books with the sun. Some guys have coloring books with the dinosaurs.
And it doesn't matter what's on your coloring book, it matters if you're coloring. And to bring the community together like that, I thought it was powerful. But at the same time,
That was the one good thing. Everything else was like reading room
type activities,
Like-
meditation space,
Yeah.
gun store, bullet store, airplane store,
killing-
car store,
killing store.
killing store, chainsaw store.
It just kept going.
They had a water treatment plant at one point, which really fucking sucked.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the reason why that was a hard time for me was because I put Macy's. I really wanted a JCPenney. I really did because they have such good guacamole in the food court there, but they just didn't.
But I think why
Zoning or
I
something.
think why your neighborhood, your fantastic Mr. Fox, that neighborhood ended up with a Macy's and not a JCPenney was because of its portrayal in the movie.
We didn't feel as a community as if we were good enough to have a JCPenney, and so we settled for Macy's.
But do you want to talk about how they got it wrong?
In the movie,
Mm-hmm.
well, I think before I want to touch on that, I want to say that like during this period that we were describing of just utter change, it was really hard for me, and this is when I started having this type of like reckoning with my childhood because I felt like I had put all this effort and energy into distancing myself from this neighborhood. You know, I didn't want to be known as the guy that lived between the sandy stone and the greasy patch and you know, above the pumpernickel patch. I didn't want that for myself. But then to go back and see it changing the way it did, it made me realize how much I missed that growing up in the Fantastic Mr. Fox neighborhood with the bristly grass and the dogs that love blueberries and the yummy juice they had. And so I was distancing myself from what it was now, but I was missing what it was then.
You were missing the single family zoning.
I was missing the single family zoning.
Mm-hmm.
I really was. I'm not going to get into that, but I was torn because for me it was separate, but then seeing it brought me back. And so I was having this type of emotion, this push and pull, and it was really, I needed it to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And so back to your point of how they got it wrong was they totally, and I mean completely, neglected to talk about the dolphins that live there. And I wanted to bring this up because I know that you recently got certified in dolphins. Is that correct?
It's true.
That must have been a crazy journey. I thought my journey was crazy with this emotionally, but the physical journey of dolphin certification, I would love to hear about that because that must be incredible.
You've heard the studies. They're smart. They know how to do drugs. They know how to talk. But what they do not tell you about in those studies is how much they do not GAF. Okay?
They nasty.
They some nasty ass bastards. Okay? They be fucking shit up crazy style.
Nasty ass Baphomets, if you will.
And so this is how I got my certification. Because I was taking reading your books on Baphomet, and I said, there's definitely a connection here. And so I think this is emerging research. The study is not nearly concluded, but I think there may be a connection between Baphomet on land and Baphomet by sea. He might be down there. And I thought there was parts of the world that might be safe, but you can never go far enough.
that's one of those things that when you hear it, you can't help but feel conflicted because as a researcher, as a family member, as a scientist, as an academic, you love new ideas. You love the nuance. And you deeply love asking questions. But sometimes you don't, quite frankly, you really don't want to know the answer to those questions. And so I was quite naively holding out hope that, Baphomet by sea was something that we wouldn't even know for like 500 years. And so to hear that you.
Well, we had to do this research now because of what's happening.
And I'm not privy to that. I don't have, 10,000 code clearance. And what's happening is.
It's not good. I'll say that. I don't think I can say it on the podcast, but I'll say it's not good. I do want to say one thing before we completely leave the topic of Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Can never leave me. I deal with this. I fucking deal with this every single fucking day.
He not that good a guy.
You and your broad stroke statements.
He not that good a guy.
Well, he did.
He not that good a guy.
Are you talking about the heist? Because he had to do
I'm
that.
I'm not talking about anything that happens.
What are you talking?
Nothing that happens in the movie. Have you ever met him? I know you live.
I lived next to him for 10 years.
Did you talk to him?
Well, he only spoke Fukish, but yes, I talked to him a little bit when I could.
He's not that good a guy, man. Trust me.
Your items.
I'm not gonna air it out on here, but I'll say he.
Baphomet ruled out. Klaus Kinski ruled out. Fantastic Mr. Fox ruled out. We're running headfirst into the ground of a lava pit at the end of a roller coaster. And it's like, who do we have to look up to in this world anymore? If not these people that I so fully trusted for so long, being Baphomet, Klaus Kinski, and
Sean Baker?
Oh my god. That's why this is a podcast that will defend Sean Baker quite thoroughly. Quite frankly. I mean, this was something that we had in our minds, but we didn't know quite the right way to broach it. Was that you've recently, in your research, you're a researcher, you're an academic, but you've branched into, you're building, you're making now, you're experiencing with your hands. And you've built 3 houses in the last week, but you've also burnt down 7. So I want to hear how does this reconcile with you as an academic, and what do you think, what's a lesson for the listeners today? Because I know this is something really interesting that I'm excited to talk to you about.
You ever bet on the train?
Nope.
The train's scary. Let me tell you that. The train is scary. That's all you really need to know about why I'm doing what I'm doing.
I would say I take your word for it, but I know that's lesson number 1 of what not to do in this day and age. Never take anyone's word for anything.
That's why he's the best. That's why you're the best, man.
Hey! All right.
You got anything else in that notebook?
You know I don't got anything in my notebook. Because the notebook is the death of good ideas. Let me just say that much. And let me talk to you directly for a second now, because I really want to get this into your mind. Never write anything down in the notebook, because the notebook is when good ideas go to die. You thought Baphomet couldn't live on water. If you ever wrote that down, you would have never thought that would ever happen again in your life. But then it happens. And now we know, and that's beautiful. And we need more moments like this. All right, I got to go to the optometrist, but I wanted to say thank you so much for coming today. Douglas G. Notebook, everyone. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. This was a 25